The drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns is unlike anything the NFL has seen in years. This isn't a minor preseason spat, the kind of sideline tension that fades by the next news cycle. No, this is something deeper, a fracture at the very foundation of a franchise that has long been defined by dysfunction. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie quarterback who lit up the Los Angeles Rams in his debut with the kind of performance fans had been dreaming about for decades, has refused to play another snap for Cleveland after head coach Kevin Stefanski publicly humiliated him in front of the world. To understand why this moment feels like a turning point, you have to revisit that game. Sanders wasn't supposed to dominate. He was supposed to show flashes of promise, maybe prove he belonged, but still reveal the rawness of a rookie quarterback learning his way. Instead, he delivered a performance that looked like it belonged to a seasoned veteran. 18 completions, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. More than the stats, it was the poise. Calm under pressure, reading defenses with precision, making throws that carved through tight coverage. One moment, in particular, captured the promise Cleveland fans have been starving for. In the second quarter, Sanders dropped back, felt the pocket collapsing, and delivered a perfectly arced rainbow down the sideline that dropped into his receiver's hands like it was placed there by design. The crowd roared, announcers lost themselves in excitement, and for the first time in years, Cleveland looked like it had found its savior. But when the game ended, the celebration didn't last. Stefanski took the microphone and, instead of praising his rookie's debut, chose to spotlight every minor flaw. He nitpicked mechanics, questioned decision-making, and framed the night as a lesson in what still needed to be fixed. This wasn't private coaching. It wasn't tough love delivered behind closed doors. It was public humiliation. Sanders didn't shout back. He didn't cause a scene. He simply packed his bag, walked out of the locker room, and made his stance clear. I'm not playing under that kind of disrespect. From that moment, the Browns spiraled into chaos. On the practice field, Sanders' absence was obvious. The backups couldn't replicate his energy, and the offense felt hollow. Veterans whispered to reporters that they understood Sanders' decision. To them, Stefanski's comments hadn't been about discipline. They had been about control. In their eyes, the coach had undermined the rookie who had just delivered one of the most promising quarterback debuts the franchise had seen in decades. Some younger players defended Stefanski, saying rookies had to earn their place. But the fracture was unmistakable. The fallout didn't stop in the locker room. Outside the facility, fans erupted in anger. Social media lit up with campaigns demanding Sanders be named the starter. Hashtags dragging Stefanski for sabotaging the only hope Cleveland had. Think pieces poured in, reminding everyone of the Browns' long, painful history of destroying quarterbacks before they ever had a chance to succeed. Sanders' stand had become more than a controversy. It was a referendum on the very identity of the team. What made this story even more explosive was how Sanders handled it. Most rookies would have swallowed their pride, nodded through the criticism, and waited for another chance. Not Sanders. He knows his worth. He's been under a spotlight his entire life as the son of Deion Sanders. He's carried the weight of expectation since high school, built a brand before his first NFL snap, and understands how narratives define careers. When Stefanski chose to turn his moment of triumph into doubt, Sanders didn't take it as guidance. He took it as disrespect. And rather than let it pass, he made a statement. He will not play for a coach who diminishes him in public. The Browns' leadership quickly found themselves trapped. Owner Jimmy Haslam was reportedly furious, torn, between a head coach desperate to assert his authority and a rookie quarterback already emerging as the face of the franchise. General manager Andrew Berry tried to keep the peace, but the dilemma was clear. Back Stefanski and risk alienating Sanders permanently, or back Sanders and risk undermining the coach's credibility with the entire locker room. Why did Stefanski make the choice to criticize Sanders so harshly? Insiders suggest it was about control. He wanted to remind the team that no individual, no matter how talented, was bigger than the system. In his mind, this was the classic way to keep a young player grounded. But instead of cementing his authority, Stefanski exposed its fragility. Because Sanders didn't fold, he walked away. And every day he stays away makes Stefanski's hold on the team look weaker. The locker room itself is now divided. Some players back Stefanski, insisting the coach must set the tone, even with rookies. But others, particularly veterans who recognize rare talent, side with Sanders. They know leadership when they see it, and they saw it in his debut. That kind of fracture is dangerous. It corrodes trust, makes practices feel like battlegrounds, and forces players to choose sides between their coach and their quarterback. And this saga has already outgrown Cleveland. Across the NFL, rival franchises are watching closely. If Sanders truly forces his way out, there are teams ready to pounce, ready to build around him and let him thrive. More than that, coaches around the league are beginning to wonder what it means for the future of player-coach dynamics. Because Sanders' stand isn't just about football, it's about respect, power, and the shifting culture of sports. We've seen it in the NBA, where stars dictate terms and refuse to be diminished. We've seen it in college sports with NIL deals and transfer portals giving athletes more control. Now we're watching it unfold in the NFL. A rookie quarterback refusing to be treated as just another name on the roster, demanding the recognition and respect he believes he's earned. For the Browns, the choices are bleak. Back Stefanski, force Sanders to cave and risk losing him forever. Or back Sanders, admit the mistake, and risk Stefanski's authority collapsing in front of the entire team. There is no clean solution, no easy way out. And the fans, well, they won't forget. They won't forget Sanders' dazzling performance against the Rams. They won't forget the hope it sparked. And they certainly won't forget how quickly it was squandered. Whether Sanders stays, departs, or sits out, the memory of how the organization mismanaged this moment will linger. Another chapter in the long curse of Cleveland quarterbacks. This saga is about more than preseason drama. It's about legacy. For Stefanski, it's about whether his need for control costs him his locker room and perhaps his job. For Sanders, it's about whether he becomes the rookie who set a standard for respect and turned it into a career-defining stand, or whether he becomes the latest talent buried by Cleveland's dysfunction. And for the Browns, it's about whether this is just another bump in the road or the start of yet another lost decade. So now the question becomes, who blinks first? Does Stefanski soften and mend the relationship? Does Sanders cave for the sake of his teammates? Or does the standoff drag on until the Browns implode from within? Because right now, this isn't just about football. It's about perception, power, and principle. A rookie quarterback lit up his first preseason game, and instead of celebration, it ignited a civil war. And the ending, for now, remains unwritten. What do you think? Should Shedeur Sanders hold his ground and refuse to play until he's respected? Or should he swallow his pride and get back on the field? Was Stefanski right to set the tone with tough love, or has he fumbled the handling of a generational talent? Drop your takes in the comments, and if you want to follow this unfolding saga and the many other stories where sports collide with culture, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in Cleveland, the quarterback carousel spins again, and Shedeur Sanders may have just lit the fuse on the Browns' next implosion.